Welcome in to the 101 podcast. That's the number one, the word zero, and one.
Yeah, it's not
Not
one.
confusing.
Not confusing at all.
We're glad you're here listening with us today. Matt, how's it going?
It's going great.
Yeah? Who
Yeah.
are you, Matt?
I'm Matt Miller, game developer, genius, model.
Confirmed.
Yeah.
All of those things are true. And I'm Justin Harper. I'm a self-proclaimed marketing guru, also genius,
Mm-hmm.
and thumb model.
Yeah.
I just kind of copied your thing.
And model plus size.
Plus size model, yeah, definitely. But super good looking.
I confirm, yes.
So what's going on in the world today?
Oh, I don't know. Nothing good.
Nothing good. This is a weird time. Perfect time to start a podcast, I guess.
Yeah. It's
But-
kind of like we're in a movie or a really good video game
Yeah, it's weird.
with no response.
We're out of toilet paper. Everyone's
Yeah,
out of
yeah.
toilet paper. For some reason, instead of like cans of beans, people are just hoarding toilet paper.
It's important.
It is important, but I mean, there's like alternatives. There's not alternatives to food.
If you could eat toilet paper, I don't understand.
Hey, nobody can copy that, all right? Edible toilet paper. That would be a great idea. So, coronavirus. That's kind of what's on everyone's mind right now.
Mm-hmm.
People are practicing social distancing. We happen to be neighbors, somewhat neighbors.
Yeah.
So we're still kind of practicing it, even though we're podcasting together today.
We're in a room together, so
We are. But our neighborhood would probably have it if we have it. So
yeah.
it's not really breaking the rules.
No, I don't think so.
Okay, fair enough.
Just a little bit.
We've established
Yeah.
that as well. Which is kind of ironic because growing up, we were pretty much neighbors as well.
Yeah. Pretty much all the time.
Our whole lives, it's been a theme.
I was always looking in your backyard.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
It's a first for me.
Stealthy.
All right, fair enough. So, talking about coronavirus, it's a hot topic right now. Obviously, it's on people's minds, like we mentioned. Wanted to look at some things in popular culture that maybe reflect a pandemic, an outbreak, things
Mhm.
that have some parallels to what's going on in the actual world today, and talk about those things a little bit.
Definitely. And it's important to know that's fiction and we're in the real world.
Correct.
So
Correct.
you don't want to get too excited and like make a baseball bat and go around hitting people.
Yeah. But you know what's kind of scary? I feel like some people are kind of going down that road. Like they're
Yeah.
looking to some of these experiences they've had in media and they're like, this is what needs to happen.
Yeah. You got to hoard bullets, guns, and toilet paper.
That's a frightening time, indeed.
It's weird because when I go to the store, I see plenty of canned food with no toilet paper.
I know. That's what I'm saying, man. There's no replacement. If a company put like a roll of toilet paper around a can of beans, that
Dude,
would be
yeah.
like the most ultimate survival good.
Yeah. That company would blow up 2020.
2020 and beyond. Have you been watching, playing, reading anything recently that kind of drew some parallels to what's going on in the world?
Well, I've played a lot of games with a lot of outbreaks.
Okay.
So I played Red Dead Redemption with the zombie pack. That reminds me of this.
I've never played that. Tell me a little bit about
So it's
what
like
is
a
that?
pack you download on top of Red Dead.
Okay.
And there's like zombies everywhere. You go around shooting them in the head.
Got it.
Obviously, I haven't done that yet.
Yes.
But it's just a matter of time.
Let's hope not.
Yeah.
Let's hope not. Okay. Yeah, that's a good one. That game kind of blew up this past year. I mean,
Mm-hmm. Red Dead 2, yeah.
it didn't come out of nowhere by any
No.
means. It was kind of expected,
Yeah.
but the zombie pack has that been pretty popular?
It's actually for the first one.
Oh, it's for the first one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I'm sure they're going to add another one next year. Yeah.
To the Red Dead 2.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Okay. So maybe this is a good time to establish you're more of the gamer.
Yeah.
I definitely have some experience. We've had some experience playing games together,
Yeah.
but I would consider myself a noob in the
Hmm.
game world.
Well, you're not a noob, but you're like I'm a game developer, so I come from it a different perspective.
You definitely come at it from a different perspective, and you're also much better at video games than me.
Yes.
We we dusted off the old
Hmm.
system a
Hmm.
year or two ago,
Yeah.
and we pulled out Battletoads, which really doesn't have anything to do with pandemics or outbreaks.
No, but you're still struggling, right? Yeah.
That's kind of
Yeah.
a
The
common
theme.
theme in
Yeah.
games, right? And everything.
So pretty much every game is like this outbreak.
But we decided to team up in that
Hmm.
game.
Yep.
You can play the two-player mode, and I had forgotten how hard these NES like original Super
Yeah.
Nintendo
Yeah.
games are.
They're extremely hard because you forget about all like the frame drops. So like if it gets too busy on the screen, the whole game starts to slow down.
Okay, I didn't even know that was a
Yeah.
thing.
Well, I didn't know it was a thing until I played again as an adult.
It's like it has a virus,
Yes.
like slows down.
Yes.
So is that something that in more recent times gamers have or game developers have put an emphasis on, or is that kind of like old news?
The frame drop
Yeah, the frame
specifically?
drops.
Yeah, but like we can't drop frames at all anymore unless you're like a console developer.
Okay. Just there's
But like the PC gamers will freak out if you get below 60 FPS. It's a big deal.
nerds.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
Yeah.
I'm clearly the nerd in this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember when we were playing the Battletoads game. You know, I probably dropped off level 2 or 3, and
Hmm.
you were playing for a long time while I was just
Yeah.
sitting on the couch watching you. Super
So
impressed.
it's all about the bike race.
The bike race.
Yeah.
Oh, the bike race.
I think it's level 3 or 4, but it's like the gate into manhood.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you gotta be quick.
Yeah.
Like you didn't get enough sleep,
Hmm.
or you're you have some sort of
Yeah.
handicap for some reason. You're done.
Yeah.
You're toast.
Well, when we were playing, it was late at night.
It was.
Yeah.
We did have a couple of drinks as well.
But that actually improved my gameplay skills.
I would say so. Yeah.
Yeah. It's extremely frustrating because it seems like you do the right moves during that time, but the game's moving too quick
Hmm.
and you just die.
Yeah. It's
So,
like they wanted you to not win.
yeah. The crazy thing, that's only like 15% in the game. There's like all this other game they worked on and made that no
Has
one ever sees.
has anyone ever beat the game? Like in the history of the world?
That's a great question.
Like is anyone during this lock-in time
Mhm.
in the state of the world, like are there people that are getting close to beating it?
I'd say give them another 4 weeks.
Another 4 weeks. Well, I hope we're not quarantined for that long, but I would love to see someone beat that game. Like I just want to know what the last level is.
We'll have to like YouTube it, and it'll probably be someone on an emulator that's been cheating.
Just totally
So,
cheating.
yeah.
But what do you think the last level is?
I imagine it's like the most epic thing ever.
Yeah. Like one of the power moves is like a giant boot stomp, right?
Yeah.
So what if it's like super meta and there's a giant boot trying to stomp you
Oh yeah.
into oblivion, and then you have to like climb up the giant's face and then like do an Ant-Man move where you go into his brain and
Yeah. I was thinking more you stomp the boot with your own foot.
oh, so
Yeah.
like it can't stomp you because you
Yeah.
stomped it.
Yeah, exactly. So you gotta make your way up, climb up the threads, go into the boot's brain, go into the boot's very top where there's a rim and you can fall into your death. Almost like a volcano. And then you have to perform your stomp and destroy it.
That's good. I guess we'll never know though.
Yeah. I don't know what the last level is, but I know that the ending is supposed to be anticlimactic. Like
Yeah,
you just get into a spaceship and fly away.
that sounds very
Yeah.
anticlimactic.
I haven't
Like,
seen it.
why didn't
So
they do that in the first level?
I would feel pretty good if they did that.
Yeah, I mean, I could beat the first level, so then it could be
Hmm.
over.
So the what's after the bike level? What's the surfing level?
Is it the surfing
I
level?
think so, yeah.
That was kind of like a standard in the 90s, right? Like you
Yeah.
had to have a surfing level.
I just want to declare that all water levels suck.
Really?
Yeah.
That's a hot take.
Yeah.
Tell me why.
They're you just move slower typically.
Okay.
You can't use most of your mechanics.
All
Like
right.
you look at Mario, you can swim, but still there's like this floating gravity thing
Hmm.
where you're slowly moving down, and you just don't have like the normal control that you normally have.
So what's the appeal? I mean, why is it in so many games?
I think they're just trying to mix things up.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
just gets repetitive if
yeah,
you're above water for too long,
yeah.
out of the water.
Breathing. Yeah,
I
they
guess
want to put you underwater, give you a timer under your breath, so you're to create anxiety. It's fun.
anxiety.
Yeah.
We know all about that
Mhm.
right now.
Well, did you ever play Echo the Dolphin?
That was actually
Yeah,
my
yeah,
next
yeah,
question. Like that was the only game I could think of where like your natural state was underwater.
yeah.
But is there other games like that?
Oh my
Like
gosh, I don't know.
BioShock is that game underwater?
Well, you're underwater technically, but you're dry. It's like a self-contained
Okay.
thing where you're in the air.
So does it impede your moves at all, or is that just your
No, no,
natural
no.
state?
Yeah, you can still move quickly.
Okay, okay,
I think it's an instinctual thing,
yeah.
like your monkey brain. You're moving quick in this game, and then you get into the water. It's just real life. Real life. You're like, I don't belong here. I can't do the things I normally want to do, like breathe.
So since it's underwater, would it be like your dolphin brain? Do we have a dolphin brain?
that's a that's a sinkhole. I think dolphins are pretty darn smart.
That's what I hear. Do you
Yeah.
think a dolphin could program a game?
Yes.
What do you think that game would be if a dolphin was going to program a game?
It'd probably be like this really great game, except like every third level they'd have like a above water level that
Mhm.
really sucks.
Yes, all their games would be the all the mechanics would be
Yeah.
overly enhanced,
Yeah.
like so they couldn't do anything except for
Yeah.
flop around.
Oh, what was the TV show with the sharks? It was kind of like Ninja Turtles.
Oh yeah, yeah. Battle Sharks, is that what it's
Yeah,
called?
and they'd go
Or
into
Street Sharks?
street
Street Sharks.
sharks, and they'd go into the ground, and they just like tear up the ground, move really fast. But they go above the ground, and they can only run like human speed. It'd be exactly like that.
I
Yeah.
like vaguely remember the cartoon, but I remember I had the action figures,
Hmm.
and they were essentially like Ninja Turtles with big prosthetic
Yeah.
like shark bodies on the top,
Yeah.
and they made chomping actions. Those things were rad.
Yeah. I wonder who came up with that idea.
Probably just some guys
Yeah.
sitting around like
Ninja Turtles, they're
us.
popular. What?
Yeah,
Sharks. Yeah.
yeah, sharks,
Yeah.
underwater
Yeah.
sharks.
I wonder if they came out right after Jaws. Like there's actually somebody who saw Jaws. It's like sharks.
No. I mean, maybe like they saw it late because that was
Hmm.
like the '90s.
That's true.
Jaws came
Yeah.
out in like what the late '70s.
Was it that long ago?
I think
Oh,
so.
I
I
thought it
think
was
so.
that. Oh.
People might be yelling at their phone right now, telling us when Jaws actually came
Yeah.
out. But I think I watched lots of old
Hmm.
movies, especially right now, being like having a little extra free time being put in place, so to
Yes,
say,
by the government
by the government, by the
and
people,
nature.
the man.
Yeah.
Um, so I've been watching a lot of old movies, and it's always weird when you watch an old movie and like everyone's seen it except for
Hmm.
you, but your mind's kind of blown,
Yeah.
and you're like, wow, this is awesome, and you want to like talk to people about it,
Hmm.
but it's weird because everyone's just gonna think you're like crazy
Yeah.
because they've seen it.
Yeah.
So then you just don't have anywhere to go with it.
And for it's skewed in their mind because they saw it when they're really young,
Yeah,
typically.
yeah.
So like Bianca, my wife, she Space Jam came on Netflix.
Okay.
She's like, "You
Yep.
want to watch
Yep.
Space Jam?" I was like, "No, it's a terrible movie." And she's like, "What? It's the greatest movie of all time." She said that to me. And she started
Greatest
watching
movie?
it. Yeah, and she watched it for
Woo.
10 minutes and then she turned it off.
So as a child, she loved
Yeah.
the movie.
Yeah.
Had you watched it more recently to realize that it wasn't the greatest movie, or is that just
Well, I was a pretty smart kid. So
You were a smart
I knew
kid.
it was pretty bad.
okay? Because I love that movie,
Yeah.
so maybe that says more about me as a child. I had like
Mhm.
the sheets and the stuffed animals and like all that stuff.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was into it.
Oh.
Like my first
Yeah.
pair of Jordan shoes.
Yeah. Well, if you're a huge Jordan fan, it makes sense.
I was after the movie. Like
Oh,
I was
okay, that's
more like
why,
a
yeah.
Daffy Duck
Yeah.
fan, and then
Mhm.
like Daffy Duck put me on Michael Jordan. I was like, oh, this guy
Yeah.
can ball. But yeah, I agree. I watched it. I actually bought it before it was on Netflix and
Yeah.
watched it, and you kind of get that underwhelmed feeling, and you're kind of bummed that your
Yeah.
childhood was just like the carpet was ripped from under you.
Yeah, that's why I choose not to watch old movies that I've seen as a kid.
That's probably the smart thing to do.
The thing about Space Jam is it taught me what the placebo effect was with the water.
The what was it called? The water. Was it Michael's secret drink or something like?
Something like that,
Okay.
yeah. It doesn't sound very good.
It's like juice or something. I don't
Yeah,
know.
Michael's secret juice.
Yeah.
But because they're losing the game and he gives them the pep talk and he gives them the water, right?
Right, right,
And he
right.
tells them it's magical and then they perform really well. And right before the last play, he's like, "Oh, that wasn't important at all. It's just regular water."
It was in you all along.
Yeah,
My special drink was in you all along,
which
Daffy.
I think is a risky move to make before the
Donald.
last play.
It was definitely a risk.
Hmm.
It was definitely he had a lot of faith in the Looney Tunes, which
Yeah.
you know on Michael Jordan's part took a lot of foresight.
It's true. I mean, if you've watched a lot of Looney Tunes, it makes sense that they're going to pull through in the end.
Yeah, it's always the good guys over the bad guys.
Hmm.
Although wasn't Wile E. Coyote on the team?
Oh yeah,
He kind of always messes it up.
yeah. He's kind of not the greatest guy.
He's not. The Roadrunner pretty much always destroys him. Oh, he kind of destroys himself actually, right?
Mhm.
More of that.
Yeah. There's a Family Guy bit where the Roadrunner finally loses, and the coyote's just eating him. I think.
Vindication, vindication.
No, the computer's like falling off a couple more inches.
Matt's just trying to end our podcast
Yeah.
prematurely here, trying to kick
Yeah.
his computer down.
Yeah.
So Space Jam, and then on the other hand, there's movies that are better than you remember.
Hmm.
This may I watched it for the first time, The Shawshank Redemption, recently.
Yeah.
Have you seen it?
Yeah. I saw it in my 20s though,
Okay,
so I knew it was good.
you knew it was good, yeah.
But it was like one of those movies you don't care about as a kid.
Right,
'Cause
right.
There's no Michael Jordan.
We were a little young back then to it was a little above my head,
Yeah.
so I never watched it. But then I watched it recently. I was like, that movie was awesome.
Oh, it's a great movie.
And then I start seeing all these references in pop culture to it.
Hmm.
Like you can always tell a movie's good when people are throwing references to it like 20, 30 years later.
Oh yeah, definitely. One of my favorite movies is Jurassic Park.
Jurassic Park, does it hold up?
It does hold up
Okay.
because it's what is it, like 360p or something? It's really low resolution.
Yeah, I heard
So
about this
like
recently.
when you look at the dinosaurs and their CGI, you can't tell that it's like poorly done.
Uh-huh.
If it was 1080p, you'd be like, "What the hell is that?" But it just holds up. Plus the how it makes you feel in terms of fear,
Uh-huh.
like it does carry you get carried along with the journey and everything. So
Yeah, Spielberg and all his infinite wisdom
Yeah.
was a genius when it came to CGI and really working with the light levels to minimize the sharpness and also
yeah,
obviously it not being in HD back then.
yeah, and they limited it too. So
Yeah.
like it's a lot of animatronics with the certain shots.
Sure. Kind of the Yoda puppet
Yeah,
effect.
yeah. So the lighting with that carries over.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's a great example of a movie that I did watch as a kid.
Hmm. And you
That's
can still watch.
good.
Yeah, you can watch it with your kids.
I'll have to watch that one during this time now that we have a little extra free time here. So right now, what are some of the things that you're watching or investing in to I guess play a little more of your free time?
Hmm.
Do you have more free time? I mean, you're a game programmer,
Well, I work from home, so I don't have more free time.
so this is just normal life.
This is
for you,
normal life for me, yeah.
except for with a little less toilet paper.
With less toilet paper, yeah, you gotta be more conservative.
Yeah.
So
I like to get out of the house. So I mean, my job's not super intensive when it comes to being around people and needing to be around people.
Yeah.
Although aspects of what I do definitely play into that. But I wouldn't say I have a ton more free time, but I'm acting like I do. Just kind of playing into what everyone else is feeling right now.
yeah, but I think a lot of people are getting bored because they're not used to being in their house. It's different for me because I'm home all the time and I've gone through like peaks and valleys of I get a lot of work done or man, this sucks, or I get a lot of work done, it's fun, this sucks. So if you're not used to it, I imagine you could like respond different ways. Like some people are like, yeah, this feels good.
Right, right.
And then
Can
some
recharge.
people just they have nothing to do.
Yeah,
Like if you're gonna sit around and just watch Netflix all day, you're probably not gonna feel very good at the end of the day.
absolutely.
So
So, what should we recommend for people to watch on Netflix,
you
knowing
guys should
this?
learn how to code.
Okay, let's take
Oh
one
yeah,
in. Yeah,
yeah,
let's
yeah,
not Netflix.
yeah.
You should learn how to code.
Yeah, you can because I don't know. I didn't know what coding was when I first started doing it.
Uh-huh.
They're like, "Hey, you can make video games, do computer science, and you learn how to code." But the more I code, like the more crazy I become because you're kind of like playing God. Hey, computer, make this thing move to the left. Hey, computer, make this thing double jump. Hey, computer, spawn this big bad boss guy. And so you get used to like ordering something around and just having it work.
You make it sound easy.
Well, when it doesn't work and you start to develop ego, you start to get pissed, which isn't good.
So, how can you learn to code? I mean, do I need to, if I want to get into it, do I have to go through a formal program?
No, no, no. You can basically learn to code on YouTube now. And a lot of younger kids are doing it.
Yeah.
That's how people are getting into making games. Like, you know, me, I didn't get a formal gaming education
Mhm.
as a kid. I learned everything in video games just by doing it myself. Now, I learned how to code in college, but I was learning how to script before college, like just programs. But the community is so big now, you can go on YouTube, say, how do I code? Or how to program C sharp or how to make a game in Unity. You can just learn it. It's just a question of whether you get to sit down and do it.
Within your circles, do you know any people that have gone that route?
Yeah, a couple of people I worked with have done that. Really smart people.
Yeah.
So,
What would be maybe the top one or two qualities that you'd say are helpful? That you don't have to they don't have to be your best qualities, but would help you to succeed.
uh, if you if you don't give up easily, like if there's something you can't quite figure it out, but you're almost about to figure out, if it just bugs you a little bit
Hmm.
and gets you to do it a little extra mile, that helps a lot with coding because that happens all the time.
Okay.
Like I've been programming for years, but yet for some reason I'll still get stumped, and it's really just the grind. Like there's no magic formula. Like you're like, try this, didn't work. Try that, didn't work. Try this, didn't work. Try this. Oh, it looks like it's gonna work. You get excited. No, it didn't work. So you're just going through a list, and
I see.
yeah. So I'm a little biased though.
Yeah.
Do you think I can get you to learn how to code?
You might be able to. I think there's certainly a great future in that, and
Hmm.
I kind of have that natural inquisitive
Yeah.
nature where I like to know the answers. I like to look into things and
Hmm.
create. I like to create. Being in marketing, that's important to me, and I
Yeah.
think there's an element of that within coding, especially in game coding.
Hmm.
So yeah, I don't think it would be too hard to get me interested in
Yeah.
it.
The way I look at it is like with gaming, it's like a form of expression. Like you want to take a really cool Instagram picture of yourself and you think about your caption for a long time.
Hmm.
I'm doing the same thing, except I'm just not using Instagram.
Yeah.
I'm like, hey, I want this bad guy to spawn like this. I want him to move like this. And you're doing the same thing, except your medium is different too. You're
Right.
thinking about, like, I want this to look this certain way. I want to get these impressions.
Want this to resonate with people.
Exactly. Yeah.
So maybe there's some new media platforms. I don't know how casual or how intense people are within the game industry that'll be listening, but if they're having a little more free time right now and they want to start exploring, what would be some media platforms you'd tell them to check out?
So media platforms. YouTube's a great resource for learning.
Okay.
For if you just want to learn how to make games and you want to jump into it, there's a community called Unity Connect, and you can get on there and meet people. That's where I met David.
Okay.
He's an artist I work with. So
He's worked with you on a few of your games
Yeah,
that
yeah,
you're
yeah.
developing and
So
have developed.
so just because usually these people they're introverts
Hmm.
and everyone's located everywhere, you can just hop online and be like, hey, I like your stuff.
Yeah.
Want to try working together?
Okay.
So
And is that kind of commonplace? Like people from, different parts of the world are just like connecting in this way.
yeah, in this ever growing digital world, it's
Yeah.
becoming more and more normal.
It's making things shrink for sure.
Yeah.
Which is kind of one of the ironic things, kind of going back to coronavirus.
Mhm.
It's unique that we find ourselves in this place, but we still feel connected. Like I'm getting news and messages constantly from people. The
Yeah.
world really, really seems smaller.
Yeah, we're not actually isolated, even though we physically are.
Yeah,
Like, because we can still text to get on social media and call each other, we're still connected.
right, right. Is that as you're working on your day to day? I mean, you don't interact with people face to face too often, right?
No, like some of the calls I do, we see each other's faces.
Okay.
Uh,
You're not in the same room though.
no, well, you can picture it in your mind.
Is there a difference to you, someone who has more experience doing these Zoom type meetings or other types of video chats? Is there much of a difference to you between being there in person and not?
Oh, there's a huge difference.
Okay.
I prefer being in person, but when you look at like being able to work remotely, because I work remotely, you can get, I think you can get better talent without paying more if you're an employer, if you want to work with somebody, because people want to work from home, or at least they think they do. And so you can get a larger pool of people that want your to work with you, and they
Hmm.
can stay at home and it's more convenient for them. But at the same time, you lose a lot. Like you lose the ability of like getting in a room and drawing on a whiteboard or talking with someone in person. And there's a lot of distractions when you're working from home. Like
Hmm.
you have your kids screaming on your door, banging on it, running around in their underwear, and just people like on Slack or Skype or Zoom just pinging you all the time, like every interruption.
Yeah.
So
Do you think it's easier to interrupt people virtually?
I do, yes,
Yeah.
definitely. It's one of the downsides of programming and being remote because you want to be able to focus for like 2 or 3 hours, and
Yeah.
sometimes you can't.
Huh.
So, what about yourself? Like, how do you find yourself dealing with all this with your coworkers and communicating with them as opposed to being in the office?
I'm kind of with you where I think there is a difference in meeting in person, and I
Hmm.
think I'm maybe more of an old soul when it comes to those things. I like those face to face meetings where I know a lot of maybe introverts would prefer to keep that to a minimum.
Yeah.
I like that face to face interaction. I think there's some of that the social small talk and things that I don't love, but I
Hmm.
think give you a greater connection and help you build some empathy, build some uh, maybe trust on a deeper level.
Yeah.
That's harder for me to do on a phone call or on a video chat.
Yeah.
I feel a little more connected with people, so I think it's harder to promote my ideas digitally versus in person.
Yeah,
They can't really
definitely.
see how I feel about it or how genuine I am
Hmm.
about things. So I think there's always going to be a need,
Yeah.
although I don't know where technology is going and how advanced it's going to be.
Yeah. It's spreading fast, and there's like a new kind of technology. I forget what it's called, but it's like projecting, uh, looking at someone and project them into like a 3D world. So you can throw on a VR and see them in there.
Okay, it's like a hologram kind of.
Kind of, but you would put on VR and see them in there.
Hmm.
So and they're experimenting with that, but at the same time, everything's spreading so fast. You just got to understand the pros and the cons. So, and if people get a taste of this now, everyone's basically stuck at home.
Right,
Yeah.
right, yeah. So this is very relevant right now. People are
Hmm.
running into those distractions. Their kids at home
Yeah.
yelling, their coworkers pinging them.
Hmm.
These things that they haven't experienced. This is all new for so many people
Yeah.
right now. So I think that also means that some employers are going to see that their production didn't decrease, having people on off site.
Hmm.
There's going to be certain roles where this might become the new normal.
Yeah, I think it depends on the industry and whether your business needs are, but definitely there's going to be some pros coming out of this. Like
Hmm.
people are like, oh, I don't need to see that person every day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although there's more distractions, you're probably cutting some of the clutter when it comes to meetings and things like
Yeah,
that.
there's a lot of pros. So like there's no rumors. Like gossip
Yeah.
is really hard to do.
No water cooler,
Yeah,
just your own kitchen sink.
pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
But you can supplement different things. Like you can have like weekly questions everyone asks, and just to get to know each other more.
Hmm.
And I feel like I do know some of my virtual coworkers pretty well.
So you feel like have you not met any of those people in person, or have you met all of them in
I have
person?
not met all of them in person. I've met some of them.
Okay. And do you feel as connected as to some of the people you know in real life, to some of those people? I shouldn't say real life, but
Yeah.
some people you've interacted with in person versus some
Hmm.
of those people you haven't. Do you feel as connected?
I guess it depends on how much I'm interacting with them, like how many voice calls you're doing.
Hmm.
Uh, there's some people I've met in person, but there's also people I've been in contact with remotely for like 5 years,
Hmm.
and I feel a lot closer to them.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it's weird. It's hard to tell. It's like on a per person basis.
I think it's possible. Like,
Yeah,
I met my wife online.
yeah,
We met
that's
through
right.
a
Yeah.
dating site, and we didn't just chat. We actually got on the phone, which I
Hmm.
think there's a difference when you actually hear someone's voice.
Yeah.
But when we met for the first time, it didn't feel like we were meeting for the first time.
Hmm.
We had a connection, and
Yeah.
I don't think it's like that love at first sight thing, but it was
Hmm.
that relationship we had built, not in person,
Yeah.
that made us feel like we had already known each other. And from a working perspective, there's vendors and people I work with that we have casual conversations, crack jokes,
Yeah.
and connect on a more personal level. Where I feel like when I actually meet them in person, they're a buddy
Hmm.
versus a new acquaintance.
Exactly. And at the same time, like there's some days when I'm working from home and I just wish I had somebody here in the office. You're
Hmm.
just like you just don't have it that day because it requires a lot of discipline too. It's like nobody's watching you. The only person that's watching you is you. And when you don't feel good or you're having a bad day, maybe you want to slack off a little bit. Maybe
Yeah.
you want to watch something while you work. And having somebody just like to talk to or bounce ideas off of, like if you were sitting next to me
Hmm.
and I'm having a bad day, like you miss that feature.
Right. I think that would be the thing I miss most if we went to like more of a virtual workplace across the board. I
Hmm.
I I like that idea bouncing,
Yeah,
that interaction that you were just describing. That I thrive in that kind of environment.
yeah. I think there's a space for the virtual work, and in my industry, it's easy because we're software.
Hmm.
So you say, "Hey, introvert programmer, go program this," and then let's interface a couple times during the day. But with sales and a whole bunch of different businesses, I think it's harder.
Yeah. So looking into the future a little bit, talking about that technology you're mentioning, where you put the VR headset on and you have somebody in the room with you,
Yeah,
even though it's a digital somebody.
yeah.
What do you think that will be like? We're just kind of speculating
Yeah,
because we can't actually feel it. But do you think there will be a equivalent at some point, or a close equivalent to in person?
I think I think the expectations of the average person we're going to exceed them. It's just like with VR, right? People didn't expect it to be so immersive when you put the headset on, but at the same time, me like reaching the same quality as meeting someone in person. Maybe you can get close, but I don't think you can surpass it.
Hmm. What if we get to a level where it's like Ready Player One, full bodysuit? So
Oh
when
yeah.
somebody pats you on the back, you actually feel a pat on
So
the
you're
back.
basically in the Matrix at that point.
You're in the Matrix.
Well, we might be in the Matrix right now.
We could be,
Yeah.
but that would be real life for us.
I guess if you ever got to that point, yeah. I'd stand corrected.
You think at that point
Yeah,
it would be the same as being in person?
yeah.
Okay.
And it's definitely possible, but it also might be possible that they invent that technology and people opt out.
Uh-huh.
So people are like, well, I still want to do human things, but I still want to go in this world.
Yeah. Do you think if we got to that point, people would have a natural draw to that, or do you think the masses would have an aversion to it?
I think the younger generation would just pick it up and go on.
Seems to be the case with most
Yeah,
technologies.
and then old farts like us would be like, I want to die as a human.
That's already me. Like just thinking about, it, I'm like,
Yeah,
no. And you've seen Ready Player One?
yeah, yeah.
I really like that movie. I know that might be a
Hmm.
controversial take as well, but
Okay.
I like Spielberg. I like his work. I like the movie. I
Hmm.
like the pop culture references. You can think they're cheesy, but I thought it made it fun for me. It made it a
It's a
little
fun movie.
nostalgic.
Yeah, it's a fun movie.
But the end message of that movie, spoiler alert, stop listening if you haven't seen it and you plan to,
Hmm.
is that they get to a point where there's a happy balance in technology where every Tuesday and Thursday the game system shut down so people
Yeah.
can live their real life and be with the people
Hmm.
in the real world.
Yeah.
Do you think that's a more of a message from Spielberg and the media,
Yeah, I
or
think
the
it's
author of the book actually, or do you think that's what people are hoping the new normal will look like?
I think it's definitely a message. Uh, I think like the social media networks and our time with our phones are almost like cigarettes.
Oh yeah.
And if you look at like cigarettes or drinking, it takes a long time to like identify a problem and
Mm-hmm.
realize it's causing problems. If there's like really all the Silicon Valley people don't want their kids on their devices all the time. And I don't want my daughter on her device all the time. It's just not good for you from a like a human's perspective or like a lot of kids are going to depression, your mental state. So I think there's a good message there, and eventually we'll keep learning about this. Like, hey, you shouldn't be on Instagram 8 hours a day.
Yeah.
Hey, you shouldn't be like comparing yourself to all these like supermodels every day.
Mm-hmm. Right, right.
So
I don't think those people generally have bad intentions either. I think
yeah,
they're also as surprised as us at how fast these technologies have taken off and how much time people spend on their platforms.
yeah. Well, we're humans. We don't really know what we're doing. We're just
Yeah.
making stuff and it's throwing it out there, seeing what happens.
I recently quit Facebook, and I
Hmm.
know that's kind of like
The trendy
the
thing to do.
trendy
Yeah, yeah,
thing to
yeah.
do. And the even like the
Hashtag quit Facebook.
hashtag quit Facebook, the the less tactful thing to do would be like, Facebook is dumb. Everyone else should get off of it, and then
Hmm.
post it, and then delete your account. I didn't.
Yeah.
I didn't do that.
Well, people are quitting Facebook for different reasons too, right? Some
Yeah.
people are against the moves that the company has made with their privacy scandals or their political affiliations, what they're not doing
Yeah.
or should be doing. And then there's people like you.
I quit because I was tired of people's bad opinions,
Yeah.
and that kind of makes me feel like I'm talking down to people on a high horse. But it was from every side. I
Hmm.
was like, this is just not accurate, or this is a horribly skewed idea. And I don't think
Yeah.
those people are that way in person, but that's what it became to me. It just became an echo chamber of like the most extreme thing or your greatest fear, like trying to convince
Yeah.
people. And I've never seen anyone actually change their mind because someone made a good point on social media.
Yeah. I think it's really hard to, like, just the medium in general. Like, somebody makes a post, they decide to make the post. They're obviously getting their information from source A, B, C, and D, which may be biased a certain way, either or. And then you have to write something to hit all their points, but they might not even truly read it, like in their state of mind.
Yeah,
If
yeah.
they're in the emotional state of mind, or if they're in the state of mind, they can just interpret it a certain way. They might interpret it as an attack, and then their defense mechanisms kick in. So it's not like sitting down like you and me having a conversation.
Absolutely. And that's part of the sad piece of it. I think if people sat down in a room with the person that's has the opposing viewpoint,
Hmm.
they'd find they'd have more common ground. I know that's not a new idea, but the fact that in text only platforms,
Hmm.
you lose so much of what you were saying of that the intention behind
Yeah.
it or the sincerity or
Yeah. Yeah.
the way they say it.
Hmm. And so for you, you're really just trying to increase positivity in your life.
I need positivity. There was too much just making me mad at people.
Hmm.
And I am an optimist. I think people are generally good.
Yeah.
Especially right now, it's hard to keep that state of mind with all the things that are floating around with the
Hmm. The
coronavirus.
corona.
People are worried about people looting and breaking into their houses
They're
and
buying up guns and toilet paper.
buying up guns and toilet paper. And I don't think that's really what the mass mentality is. But
Yeah.
when you put a fear out there, and I think a fear is the worst thing you can imagine personified or spoken,
Yeah.
then people think that's the norm. And I think really, if we were to look at it and talk to our neighbors from 6 feet away, because we're
Yeah.
social
6 feet
distancing,
away with
um,
elbow bumps.
elbow bumps and heart
Yeah.
taps,
Winks.
winks, all sorts of strange things,
Hmm.
I think we would see people's mentalities are actually not as bad as we're
Yeah.
thinking, and people are willing to help more.
Yeah.
And I just don't see that, and I can't believe that that is the masses actual
Yeah.
state of
Well,
mind.
typically, like social media is like a bubble, right?
Hmm.
Like if you go and talk to your friends or neighbors, you might have like somebody panicking, one person or maybe two. But typically, everyone's more calm and ready, right?
Yeah.
Because it's better to be calm and ready than to be panicking. And I don't know, social media, like people can post anything there. It's unfiltered, generally speaking. And so someone might post something just in a fleet of panic for 10 minutes in their day and
Yeah.
then carry
Yeah.
on the rest of their day. And they're like,
Exactly.
oh, yeah,
And
I
they
got,
could be a cool, calm person, but
yeah,
they feel like that's noteworthy. And then also, you don't have the person, the moderate person who is calm to talk you down off
yeah.
your ledge.
So, like any thought, you just throw it out there. And even if 10 minutes later you like would actually disagree with what you posted, it's just still out there to freak someone else out.
Yeah. And all that to say, you should definitely
Hmm.
follow us
Yes.
when we get our social media platforms up and running. The number one, word 01. Um, let's prove people
Yeah.
wrong.
101.
101.
Yeah.
Let's prove people wrong. Um, so we talked a little bit about the social media, people spending more time online these days. Um, I wanted to talk a little bit about some of the parallels that we've seen in past games, in past comics,
Hmm.
movies, whatever it might be. But is there anything as we talk about this, whether it's technology based or pandemic outbreak kind of
Yeah.
base, that
There's
sticks out to you?
there's actually a game, I think it's called Plague, I'm pretty sure. And it's like a slow moving kind of game where things are spreading throughout the world, pandemic basically.
Uh,
And I think like it's become more popular during this time.
yeah,
It's
it's
basically simulating this, the coronavirus.
okay. Yeah, that's interesting. Like
Yeah.
I noticed on Netflix that um, I think Contagion or like
Yeah.
Outbreak,
Yeah.
like those movies are trending right now,
Hmm.
which is interesting to me that people are kind of leaning into it
Hmm.
versus avoiding it and watching The Office more.
Yeah. Well, if people are scared of it or they know they should be concerned, they're probably going to want to educate themselves through Netflix.
That's terrifying. Do you think people are? I think we talked about this point earlier
Yeah.
at the beginning, but do you think people are actually using these fictional works as education?
I think people do that all the time.
Oh
They're
no.
just stories, right? We use stories for everything.
Yeah.
So, but I think it's better than nothing.
I'm not above that.
Hmm.
I'm not telling people they're wrong for doing
Yeah,
that. I've watched a
yeah.
few of those movies, and the thing that sticks out to me is that I feel like in those movies the people are actually calmer than what people are acting like right
Oh
now.
yeah, yeah,
Like people are coughing blood on each other, and people are like way more chill
yeah.
than
Yeah.
the people at Costco are in real life right
Oh,
now.
the Costco people, yeah. They're all like bunched up, breaking the social distance rule, by the way.
The ultimate irony.
Yeah, you can see the coronavirus just spreading through the line one by one.
We've seen videos of people like about to throw
Yeah,
fists because somebody had like two toilet papers in their shopping cart.
yeah. I saw one video. It was just this lady with old toilet paper,
Old toilet paper?
just all,
Oh,
all,
oh, all toilet,
yeah,
only
all,
toilet
yeah,
paper.
old
I
toilet
thought you said old
paper.
toilet.
Use it once, use it again, use it a third time.
She's on to like some
Yeah,
next level stuff
yeah,
here in the store with old toilet
yeah,
paper.
old toilet paper. That should be a good brand name. We
Ye
need,
old toilet
yeah.
paper.
Let's rebrand Charbon.
Wiping bums
Old.
since
Yeah.
1822.
Senior citizen discount.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They got the senior hour
Yeah.
right now at a lot of the shopping
It's like fine
places.
wine,
Shopping
better with
places.
age.
Yeah. Oh, this is a vintage. What is
Yeah.
this, a 93?
Yeah.
Can tell by the hue.
God. How are you doing on toilet paper, by the way?
You know, before the whole
Mm-hmm.
thing, I'm just gonna call it the thing now.
Yeah, the thing.
Before the whole thing, we had Costco size toilet paper
Nice.
bundle. So we have about half. We're down to maybe like a third or a quarter. So
Mm-hmm.
I keep telling myself over and over that there's going to be a point where the hoarders have enough toilet paper where they don't need any more.
Yeah.
And there's going to be an abundance, a surplus of toilet paper. So I'm just using one piece, splitting my 2 plies into 1 plies
Mm-hmm.
until that point.
More toilet paper's on the way. We're doing okay. We have like 6 plies.
6 ply toilet paper?
No. Sorry, 6 rolls.
Okay, I was
6
like,
ply. They don't make those.
you're
They
like
should,
living in
yeah.
2030 in luxury.
But I don't know. Like I kind of, you know, those videos where people would line up for the iPhones.
Yes.
I kind of want to see a video where someone takes a piece of toilet paper, goes in front of people at Costco, and just burns rolls of toilet paper in front of them.
As people weep with
Yeah,
dirty bums,
yeah.
just smelly people.
Whether it's
crying.
smashing an iPhone or smashing the Xbox in front of a bunch of hipsters, bunch of panicked hoarders.
I will not be the person. I feel like there would
Yeah.
be a wrath that I couldn't even deal with
Yeah.
if I did that.
If it wasn't bad for the environment, I'd do it myself.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
so.
take the high road.
Yeah.
I like it. So we talked about some of the things we've seen in popular culture. What fictional work could you draw a parallel from in the real state of events that are going on in the world right now? Is there anything where you're like, maybe I could see how this is playing out, or I'm learning something from it? We can be those people for a minute.
Yeah, I usually fictions exaggerate, right?
Okay. Yeah, agreed.
So it's hard to find a real example, but it's more fun to find like an example I would see just a tiny possibility of happening, like Zombieland.
Okay,
Yeah,
Zombieland. Yeah. Okay. So what are some of the things you could see that you're like, no way, but this could happen maybe?
Well, in those movies, there's a lot of people stockpiling guns and ammunitions and big
Yeah.
trucks or cars or
Okay.
Hummers.
Yeah.
See that happening, except you'd have to throw in a couple of rolls of toilet paper in the movie.
They never put. I've never seen a movie, and there's probably something out there where people are like stocking up on toilet paper.
Yeah, it's gonna happen now. Like if there's a zombie movie made in 2021, you're gonna see some toilet paper with those guns.
Yeah,
You
toilet
need-
paper
You need
guns.
something to clean your weapon with.
I automatically go to like The Walking Dead.
Yeah.
That's the big popular one.
Mhm.
I don't know if it's still cool, but
Yeah.
it was for a while.
It was cool to say that you watched it a couple seasons, then it got bad,
It got
and
bad.
you stopped watching it.
Yeah, I remember like my mind being blown the first
Yeah.
episode where Rick is like on his own in deserted Atlanta.
Yeah. He's
That
on a horse
he's on a horse,
with a bag
which
of weapons. Yeah.
automatically makes you like 10x cooler.
And the hat.
And the hat, cool hats and horses, man.
Yeah.
Like I think that's the key to success in popular culture. Red Dead.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's also a famous cooking guy. He's a cowboy, Ken the Cowboy or something like that.
Maybe we should wear cowboy hats.
Yeah, that's the
as
key
we
to
talk about
success.
these
Yeah,
things.
life hack.
Well, let's leave the people with some good hope. Something nice to think about.
Hmm.
Tell me about how you feel your game programming improves the lives of others.
Well, I'm practicing the social distancing rule. Uh, I'm not going on social media and freaking out because I get to play God with my computer.
Okay.
So I get all that craziness out there. And I'm expressing myself.
It's good.
Yeah.
I like it. I like it. I think
So, what do I have to do to get you to learn how to code?
show me the easiest way possible
Okay.
and I'm in.
Yeah. The easiest way, hire a programmer.
All right, so Matt just got a new job today. Yeah, I think that this is all going to blow over at some point.
Yeah.
And I don't think that the world is going to be the same.
No, I think we'll be more aware.
We're going to be more aware. I think we'll be more prepared.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we're going to have some new ideas for toilet paper movies and books.
Yes, yes.
And we're also going to be more used to the way that things are going with technology and maybe a little more in your world where we're working.
I think it'll accelerate all that.
Yeah.
You know, it's going to put a strain on any business that has face-to-face time. So you have to adapt quicker. You have to evolve quicker. Now's the time to start learning.
So what would be a good resource? Do you have anything you want people to check out if they're listening to this and they're like, you know what, I want to do something I like. I want to get into the future.
Mm-hmm.
Where should they start?
The Me Games Instagram. That's where you should start.
Yeah. All right. Your Me Games Instagram.
At Me Games Dev.
What do you do on there? Do you show how to?
Yeah, I show what it's like to be a game developer.
Okay.
And I show the good and bad.
Gotcha.
Because sometimes you got to put in some work. But after you put in the work, you feel good.
Nice.
So.
No shame in that plug.
Yeah.
I love it. Well, this is the 101 podcast.
Yes.
Thank you for being here today. We hope you're doing fine. We hope you have plenty of toilet paper.
Stay safe. Yeah.
Stay safe. Let us know.
Yeah.
Give us a review if you like this. We'd love to hear from you. We'd love to hear about topics you'd like us to approach in the future when it comes to popular culture and technology. Maybe you want to know more about gaming.
Yes, gaming.
Let us know.
Don't get me started.
Tell us what you're doing as we're social distancing and being trapped in our homes.
Yeah.
We'd love to hear from you. You guys have a blessed day.
And the best way to stay safe is the elbow bump.
Elbow bump on the outro.
Boom.